money, I've been driving around in my car, looking for some kind of open bar. It's gonna be alright, gonna be alright. Got no money, but I'll work it out with my charm. Having a good time, ain't doing no harm. It's gonna be alright, gonna be alright.
Hello and welcome to the Nerd in Motion YouTube channel. And today, a bit of a serious video, to be totally honest with you. I watched a video on Mr. GDB Official, who is GDB Rescue and Recovery. A guy who goes out, rescues people on the motorway and all over the place who have either crashed or broken down. And he also changes tyres. He does lots of stuff that I wouldn't do because it's super risky. But he did a video, and I'll put a link in the description, and it's National Highways Endangering My Customers, the Hidden Truth About Smart Motorways. And I just want to show you this. And as you know, I've recently passed my HGV Class 1 and 2, and I have a new perspective of driving for sure, and I think everybody should actually have a go at driving a truck, because then you'd realise how dangerous they are. Let me show you this. Yeah, I don't fancy being in one of those cars. Look at the state of that. Admittedly, these are older cars, but I don't think you'd fare much better. And yes, the truck has a big steel plate on the front of it, but that's only to protect the person that's in there. Trucks are pretty hard at the front, to be honest, and they're pretty hard at the back. I cannot believe that this is a thing. So the issue that he raised is that on smart motorways, which have no hard shoulder or a partial hard shoulder, so what I mean by that is the hard shoulder operates until traffic gets heavy, and then the motorway decides that it needs to widen itself and it will use the hard shoulder. And quite a few people over the years have been killed and injured, and lots of things have happened. Yes, motorways are an extremely dangerous place. People should be careful. But what's most worrying is they have shrunk the hard shoulder into these rescue areas, which you'll see at the side of a motorway they're normally painted bright yellow. Sometimes they're not, and you're meant to get into that area if you break down or if you have a problem. Now, the issue isn't necessarily with that. The issue is with rejoining the motorway, and what's happening is you have signs above the motorway, and what these signs do is when they come up, they'll come up with a cross to say, hey, don't go down this lane. And if you do go down that lane, you're going to get 3 points and £100 fine, possibly more if you cause an accident. Obviously, if you ignored that and you hurt somebody, then you're in big trouble. There's probably a jail sentence for you. Now, I want to show you a video. I filmed this the other day. This is from my truck. Let me just show you. What I first want to show you is how long it takes for my truck. Now, in this video, I'm loaded to the maximum weight of the truck, which is about 32 tons. And I'm coming through here. And you can see even there on an orange, I went through that orange, but there's no way my truck would stop in that time. The load would shift. It would cause an accident. So look how long it's taking me to get up to speed. It's an uphill speed ramp as well. This truck has about 420 horsepower, and it is I'm literally foot to the floor. To get up to speed to match the other truck that passes me there, I'm doing it's roughly 30 seconds, give or take. And what you see coming up here is the gantry above. Now, what you see here is this is showing that the hard shoulder's open. There's a sign there saying that there's a rescue area, and this is currently what the speed limit's set to. A lot of the truck drivers won't use that lane unless the traffic's moving really slow. Now, we'll see the refuge area in a second. It comes up. What's interesting is how short they are. So if you know that my truck took then 30 seconds just to get up to speed, you can imagine what it takes for the truck to go down speed. Here I'm being undertaken, but you can see the refuge area there. Now, what's interesting here, this is the area. Look how short that looks to us. Now, if we got the marker on here had come up and said arrow move over, which is what they want to do instead of putting the cross, I don't think either of us, well, I would have had to have done something drastic, probably dropped down in speed. The problem is it starts causing trouble because that junction there, they're the only two markers before you get to that if you're joining the motorway, so you wouldn't know. So those are the only two chances we've got to see that we need to move out of that lane. If there's a car next to me, I can't move over, so I've got to drop back. But he might see the same thing and he might drop back. So then we start going back like this. It's not an easy thing just to shoot over. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's not. And if we both hit our brakes now because there was a car here, there's a likely chance that we wouldn't be able to stop at 56 miles an hour. There's a good chance we'd end up hitting it. And it's dangerous. Now, if that had a red cross up there, I think the difference is it puts a sense of urgency there. So yeah, we've still got to do the shuffling, we've still got to move around, but as I'm joining that motorway, I would have seen the X, I'd be like, right, I can't go in the hard shoulder, I'm staying out of there. This guy here, he wouldn't have gone down the inside lane, because he basically, one of the things you can't see here is further up the road, he's not actually doing anything wrong because further up the road it splits off into different motorways, and I'm going on this lane anyway. So if you put the X up, we're not going to go in that lane, and we're going to try and get over as fast as we can because we're getting paid. It's our job on the line. We're getting paid to, our living is driving. Look how quick it takes to pass the refuge area, and that truck nearly fills that area. There's another one further along on here as well, I think. It's just extremely dangerous to just put an arrow up. And like I've slowed down, I've let him in. We're now going into our separate motorways. I think he realised he was probably in the wrong lane anyway. If you put the X up, we are getting out of that lane and we will make an absolute, sure we're moving over. If you put an arrow up which tells us, hey, we need to move over because further up we're probably going to get across, there's another one there, we're gonna take a bit more time about it. But the problem is on that slip right there you just saw, it's very, very short between coming onto the motorway and that first area, so it needs an X. And I think it's extremely dangerous and irresponsible that we are in a position where smart motorways, which have had an extremely checkered past, are now kind of banded as being a safe thing. And we put the red X's up to help you rejoin the motorway and all that kind of stuff. But then it's not happening. Now they're taking that away and saying, well, actually, we'll just put an arrow up. And I do not want to be responsible for hitting a family in a car that are trying to rejoin. I don't want to put anybody at harm. Every time I get in that truck, I have to operate it safely. We go to great lengths to make sure that we are operating safely. And then this is like a massive undermining of what we're doing. That's my personal opinion on this. Let's have a little look at what some of the newspapers said about it. Because they reported on another chap, Ashley, a chap called, Ashley Neal, also did a video in his Focus ST, and he had a problem with his bike rack, and he measured the amount of time it took him to get up to speed. Now, that's in a quick car. What happens if you're in a not quick car? What happens if you're in a truck? And what happens if you're in a recovery truck? Because they're not fast, despite what people think. And I'm I'm disappointed to say this is really, after all of the views that these videos have had and what's been said, this is the best that highways can come up with. And this is, I can put a link in the description to these videos, but a spokesperson said, "We want drivers to be and feel safe on our roads, which is why we ask that they never exit an emergency area without speaking to us on the phone, or speaking to us first, sorry. We can then set the appropriate signs and signals to warn approaching traffic that a vehicle is about to exit an emergency area. Technologies on these stretches of motorway offers our control room staff a number of options to make sure that drivers leave emergency area safely. The lane divert right signal has been in use across England's motorway for many years. All signs and signals that National Highway use on its network are prescribed with the traffic signs, regulations and general directions." Right, okay. I think that is extremely vague. Yes, glasses have been used for a long time, but you know what? We might, I know you've got a hot cup of tea, but we'll give you a glass to put it in instead of a mug, because, hey, why not? It might exist. The cross and the arrow might exist, but if you don't put the right one up, and I know you're saying traffic signs regulation, but you've clearly been caught out by the video that GDB did, because he's literally talking to you on the emergency phones, and you're not doing anything at all. You're not doing anything at all. And to be honest, I would argue that the person, here's Birmingham Live. This is another story, but it's exactly the same one essentially. I just think being pedantic and not giving your name as well. So you're willing to put someone's life at risk by not putting a cross up, and there's a chance that they get struck by a lorry. But you're not willing to give your name or put your name to your actions. So I personally think that's wrong, and I'm sure, to be honest, I'm pretty sure that if it came to it and there was an accident and you were the operator that did that, then you're probably going to get in trouble. There's no doubt. But there's no reason to be like that with someone that's trying to do something good. Because ultimately, all he's doing his job, and he's trying to keep people safe. I would want that man helping me if I was stuck on the side of the road. He has got some... He just gets on with the job, gets you off the road, and he does it as safely as possible. And he clearly cares about his customer, and that is what's important. And then I think I can say for probably me and the rest of the nation, the population, we're a little bit sick of computer says no attitude, because when it seems to be government stuff, you're quite happy to roll the dice with our lives. We only have to look at Grenfell Tower to know that that's a fact. So I'm asking other truckers out there, if you see that arrow, start moving over, because it could be that the red X has not been put up. So be super, super careful, super vigilant, especially those guys driving at night. And if you're in a refuge area and you don't feel safe leaving, or you don't feel confident, then you don't leave. You stay in that area until they help you. And I know the traffic wombles who come out. I know that there's another video that GDB's done where, to be honest, the decision that the traffic officer made is questionable, or equally as pedantic, and lacks a bit of common sense. I could do another video about that if you know anything about transporter gearboxes and how they fail and the fact that they can jam up. But hey, who am I to say? I've only been a technician for many, many years. So I'm gonna stop ranting because this has genuinely got my goat. It's taken me a little while to do the video because I wasn't kind of sure what would happen, and what I've seen happen is basically Highways has giving a non-statement, non-committal statement. They've not really. I've not heard that they're exercising things any differently. I think that's a pretty poor way to address the public about what we already know to be pretty dangerous smart motorways. So Highways, if you're watching, please check it. Just give us something. I'll come and do a video with you if you want. Let's talk about it. Let's have a positive outcome to this, because at the moment it just seems like us as YouTubers are highlighting the issues. You've now got a car driver, you've got somebody that does recovery, and a truck driver, and we're all saying this is really dangerous, and all you've said is, yeah, well, we've had signs for ages. It means nothing. So please come back to us, come up with some sort of plan. Let's do something and try and make the world a safer place for everybody, because it's dangerous out there. I hear about accidents all the time, and it's not nice. So yeah, I've been Nerd in Motion, and I will catch you on the flip side, and keep it shiny side up.